The Book of Mysteries, the beginning. Who are you? I asked. A teacher, he replied. A teacher of what? Mysteries. And where do you teach? Here, in the desert? What better place to find the truth with no distractions? In a school? Some would call it that, he replied. And who are your students? Seekers of truth. How do they know to come to the desert? Word of mouth, an encounter. If it's meant to be, it just happens in the encounter, as in this one. As in this encounter, if it's meant to be. And where do your students live? There are many accommodations. Dorms? That might be stretching it, he replied. Rooms, dwelling places, chambers. And how much does it cost to attend? Yes, it doesn't. How is that possible? If one is truly seeking, it's provided for. Really? Come, he said. To the school? Come and you'll see. I can't, I said. I'm in the middle of a journey. Through the Middle Eastern desert? He said, yes. And what exactly are you expecting to find? Nothing, just, you're on a journey to find nothing. I like to travel. With no destination? Not in particular. But what if there was a destination? What do you mean? What if there was something you were meant to find? Like what? Come and you'll see. The new year's about to begin. It's a good time to start. To start? The new course. The course I teach starts with the new year and ends at the year's end. I can't. Of course you can, he said. I mean, I don't know that I would. You will, he said, if it's meant to be. That's how it all began, an unplanned encounter in the middle of a desert. I don't know which was more absurd, what he told me about his school, or the fact that I actually ended up there as one of his students. And I can't say exactly what it was that led me to take that step. Perhaps it was the thought that if I didn't do it, I would always wonder what it would have been like to have done so and regret not taking the chance. Nothing about the school was ordinary. The accommodations were sparse as one would expect considering the location, and yet it didn't seem to matter, not to any of the students. They came from all walks of life, and from a wide variety of places. It wasn't entirely barren. There were carefully maintained gardens of trees, plants, vines, and flowers. And then there were the people who lived in the surrounding region, the nomads, the shepherds, the many desert dwellers who lived in the tent encampments or tent villages that dotted the arid landscape. About an hour's walk from the school was a small city. On occasion, I would go there, as would others from the school, to purchase goods, to observe, and, when appropriate, to seek to apply the lessons given. The school had other classes and teachers, but he was clearly preeminent and the one who oversaw everything else. He was so preeminent that he was known simply as the teacher. All the more reason I could never understand why he chose me as one of his students. He lived a simple, ascetic life, as did everyone in the school. It was in keeping with the goal of eliminating all distractions. We drew our water from a well, and at night the school was lit up with candles and oil lamps. It was as if we were all transported back to ancient times, and yet at the same time, the teacher seemed very much aware of what was going on in the larger world from which the school seemed so cut off. Nor was he averse to making use of any tool or service of the modern world that would serve the purpose of the teachings. As for the teachings themselves, they were no less ordinary than the school in which they were given. Most of the classes I was given consisted of just me and the teacher. There was no set time or place. They could take place early in the morning, in the middle of the day, or late at night, and in desert plains, on mountaintops, on hills, in oil-lit chambers, while overlooking one of the tent villages. or while journeying through the desert on camels. There were times when the teaching would be triggered or initiated by the surroundings or by something we happened to see, or at least it seemed that way. I could never quite tell if the teaching was based on the surroundings or the surroundings on the teaching. And there were some teachings that came about in response to one of my questions. Each teaching would impart a mystery or truth. Some mysteries would build upon other mysteries, or together form a larger mystery. At the end of each teaching, he would give me an assignment, a mission to apply what I learned to my life that day. I kept a journal in which I wrote down what he taught me and other conversations as best as I could remember. The teachings, the mysteries, the questions and answers, and the references I was able to find later on that matched up what he shared. So by the end of the course and the year, I had recorded 365 mysteries, one for each day of the year, a teaching, a mystery, and a mission. The following is the record of what I was shown by the teacher, the mysteries he imparted, as I received them in the year I dwelt in the desert.